Arian, I'm with you first, mate. How are you doing? What did you think of that game?
I think pretty much the same as everybody. You summed it up pretty well. The first half was shocking. We were not good. We were terrible. We were awful. I was appalled. I was appalled. Was that first 5 minutes especially? Fuck me. I saw that first 5 minutes. I was like, we might finish bottom half. Not seriously, but it was terrible. It was awful. We grew into it a little bit. A little bit. I think the players who started off especially poor kind of picked it up. I think in that first half, my standouts were probably Kulisevsky. I think he played all right in that first half. Poro definitely played well, probably the whole game, probably the best player on the night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Spence, to his credit, I think again stepped it up. So I think he was probably my player to watch for this game because he's been performing against QPR, against Vissel Kobe, and all these teams. And I was like, can he do it against Bayern? And I think he did. I
You
think
thought he looked
especially in
okay?
that
You
first
thought he
half.
looked okay in that left back role?
I really did, and I think the reason, like you said, that we could have been 4, 5, 6, 7-0 down in that first half, I think it was because of Spence that we weren't. He blocked so many shots. He got in the way of so many efforts. I think he was wonderful. I think he was probably the best player on the night, besides Porto. I think our fullbacks were probably the best players. But besides that, in that first half, there was really nothing but lowlights to talk about. We were fucking awful, especially in that
And
midfield area. Gray was not great. Madison was not great. Sar looked completely out of shape. I don't
yeah.
know what happened with him today. But yeah, that's
So,
it.
and
That
so,
first half.
how much do you think the kind of change in the second half was down to Bergvall and Basuma coming on?
Bergvall, especially Bergvall. Oh my fucking god, this guy should. If this guy doesn't start against Leicester, I'm gonna be furious. I we have signed a a fucking S+ tier. This is the kind of signing you see like at Wharton at Crystal Palace, where they just get this guy and he's suddenly able to do everything.
Yeah.
Incredible play. And when he bodied whoever that was in our own box, they could let it go out for the goal kick. That's where I was just sold for sure. I was like, this guy is him. This is our guy. This is going to be our franchise player, unless we sell him, which I think hopefully not.
Not for
He
not for
is.
5 years. But that's actually a really good point
Yeah,
about that shouldered barge because it showed he actually had a bad touch of that, and it showed his desire to kind of make it right.
yeah, exactly. And I think he is going. I said it the other day, kind of as a joke. I was like, he might be our best non-defender, and he's up there now. Honestly, I think with the performances he's putting up. Obviously, I don't think he's quite there yet. You have Sonny, you have obviously a lot of players who are great for us, but he is. At 18 years old, he doesn't look phased at all playing against this Bayern Munich side. It is incredible to see it. And I think in the second half he made all the difference. And part of me is kind of glad he missed that goal because I really want his first goal to be a big one. Because I just can't. I love him already. I'm gonna buy a shirt soon. This guy, he is going to be our franchise player. I know it. I mean, he's everything. He can do everything. What is there he can't do? Like sincerely,
No, I agree. And if, as you said, he's going to start against Leicester on the first game, who would you
I hope
play him
so.
alongside in central midfield?
I'd probably go Bissouma at the moment. Bissouma and him and I'd give Madison a run. I still would. I think he was very poor today, but I think
Yeah.
he has earned his marbles as our 10 for now. Uh,
And also
yeah, but
it's against his former team, isn't it? So you've got
yeah,
to.
that too. So, maybe there's that factor. I would have that as my midfield three at the moment. One thing I would like to say about the performance as a whole is something that is not an excuse, and I'll say this way because we were poor. We were poor, and I'll say this louder. We need signings. We need signings big time, right? But I think one thing that we need, what I'm gonna say that is relevant, is we've been in this soul heat wave for 2 weeks, doing double sessions every single day. Bayern Munich got there 2 days ago. And I think the thing about this performance that was the most uncharacteristic of Tottenham is the fact that we did not press them high at all. Relative to them, especially, they pressed us. They suffocated us in that first half, especially. We did that, but we didn't press them at all, and that's very uncharacteristic of an other side that we've come in for the past year. And I think part of that has to do with the fitness. We played 3 days ago as well, and they played 7 days ago or 5 days ago, something like that. They had a couple days rest, and we've been doing double sessions of this heat wave. So I think something has to be said of the fitness, and I think we saw it. The players did look a little bit leggy to me.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
it's not an excuse. It's not something to say that the performance wasn't as bad as it was because it was not a good performance, especially in that first half. There's no excuse for a performance like that. But it's kind of something to pad out the pessimism, because I think some people looked at that and said, "Oh, Ange isn't going to make it to Christmas." I think that's fucking nonsense.
So do I. And can I just ask, Arian, how different do you think the game will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in a week's time then?
I don't think it's going to be that different, honestly. Well, to be fair, I have to know how we're going to train. How we're going to, are we still going to be doing, are we going to get rest? I don't know. I don't know that detail, but I don't think it's going to be that different. I think it's going to be, I think the result's going to be different. I think we're going to at least hold out for a draw, in my opinion, because I think especially in the second half, we saw a little bit of what this side was better at, and we saw some players that did not need to be near it in that first half. Some players just did not impress in that midfield. I think, for example, Gray, so disappointing for me.
They just harried him.
Really
they basically sat Thomas Muller on him, didn't they? And didn't give him room to breathe.
And I love him. I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to come great for us. But I really think that the pressure that Bayern put on him paid them out big time. And I think if we, give them a little bit of a rest, because they have been working incredibly hard. And Ange said several times he's been squeezing every last drop out of them fitness wise. I think especially if we kind of give a little bit of a rest to these players, it can look pretty different. I don't think it's going to look super different, because also one thing is just Bayern are a quality side. Bayern are an incredible side. They're a world-class team, and we're not necessarily there yet. So I don't think it's going to be a case of, we're going to turn up at the Tottenham Hotspur next week and curb stomp them. I'd love it, but I don't think it's realistic. So I think hopefully we just hold out for maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2.
Okay, Arian, mate, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. Hopefully speak to you. Actually, I'm not doing the Bayern one next week, but maybe you can call in for Ben and Sim, because they should be back from Asia for that.
Awesome.
Top man.
All right, awesome. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Top man, Aaron. Thanks a lot, mate. I'm just going to do, before we